by addiction and mental illness.
This morning we have Franklin County Coroner Dr. Nate Overmeyer joining us this morning. Good morning, welcome.
Good morning, thank you so much for having me.
Of course, we're glad to have you to talk about this effort you guys are a part of. So tell us a little bit about who is working together to put this art exhibit on.
So we're so thankful to be partnering with Southeast Healthcare, their Fresh Air Gallery, Fresh Air Artists in Recovery, the Reese Brothers Production, and Concord Counseling, partnering all to bring together the work of artists whose lives have been affected through addiction and mental illness.
What's your connection in all of this? You're the county coroner, of course. You know, that seems like an interesting connection between the coroner's office and art.
Yeah, so as a family physician, and especially as an osteopathic family physician, I tend to, well, from the beginning of med school, we were taught the philosophy of taking care of the whole patient. And now as your coroner, I think of my community as the whole patient, providing holistic care. How do we connect people with the correct resources in the right time? And so this is an opportunity to break the stigma around addiction, mental illness, so that people can get help when they need it.
So what kind of artists will we be seeing this art from, and what types of art? Is it all paintings, drawings, photography?
It's a little mix of both, mostly paintings, but there's some photography, and there's 29 artists.
Wow.
And we'll be hearing at the reception on March 27th from 5 to 7 some personal stories, their journeys through addiction and treatment and recovery. And it's beautiful. We have white walls on our Forensic Science Center, so it's a little plain, but now we have so much beautiful works of art and showcasing all this really important work being done.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, you know, you and I have actually talked about addiction and overdose, the overdose problems in this county. Tell us, how has that changed? I mean, I can kind of remember the early part of the decade when things were really bad. Are we still being affected by overdose and drug deaths? There's
some good news in that, you know, drug overdoses, deaths from overdoses are going down up to 30% in some counties.
That's good.
Thankfully in Franklin County we're seeing the average around 20 to 30%, but that's still way too many people dying from overdoses. And, you know, there was a few waves starting, you know, in the early 2000s with the opioid epidemic, and then the start of fentanyl being in the market. So we're seeing that starting to trend down. We're seeing that drug supply being used up, or it's shifted in some way. But also the combination of harm reduction strategies, other targeting methods, we're seeing this drop in people getting the treatment and recovery that they need. So thankfully the silver lining is overdose deaths are going down, but that's still, in Franklin County, 500 people every year. And those are 500 families, 500 brothers and sisters, 500 moms and dads who are struggling with that death.
And so you said 29 artists, their work's going to be displayed. The 29 are from here in Franklin County?
Yes, indeed.
Oh, wow. So it's definitely close to our community.
Yes, these are, yep.
Yeah.
And what can you tell us about the artists and their connection to the problem here?
Well, they're going to share their story at the reception. I actually don't know the intimate details of their stories, but they're going to, that's why you should come to the reception.
Yeah.
So where's the reception going to be at? We know March 27th, which is Thursday.
Yep.
What time and where? You know, are there tickets, or do you just walk in?
It's from 5 to 7, and so we're having an open reception, open to the community. Anyone in Franklin County or beyond, all is welcome. It's located at the Franklin County Forensic Science Center, 2090 Frank Road. It's near the intersection of Frank and Harrisburg Pike.
Okay, and then lastly, the coroner's office. Do you guys do a lot of community events? Do you have some things up your sleeve maybe as we head into spring and summer?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it sounds odd, an event with the coroner's office, but it happens, like the art exhibit you're putting on.
Yeah, so we're taking cues from the popularity of things like CSI, and there's so much interest in forensic science in general, and so we want to be part of that discussion. We have outreach events, in particular, specifically regarding overdoses. We have an overdose specialist who goes to, for example, high schools and talks about addiction and how do we prevent young kids getting into that cycle of addiction. I in particular, as a family physician, going out and talking to churches, community centers, whether it's gun violence or suicide prevention, all the things that come to our office, we want to see less and less of those deaths coming from Franklin County. And so any way that we can be part of the solution, I'm here for that.
Important work.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, our Franklin County Coroner in the studio live with us this morning. Thank you so much for coming on. Again, that event is on Thursday. We're going to post the details on our Facebook page, Good Day Columbus, so everyone come out and support these wonderful artists. All right, let's check the forecast maybe for Thursday. Sarah Converse, take it over.
That's right. Well, we're looking at dry conditions at least for Thursday, so that's good news there. But before we talk more details about this forecast, let's take a look at a beautiful sunrise photo that was sent in by Deborah Price. Thank you so much, Deborah, for sharing this beautiful sunrise photo, because we're not seeing too much